this is impossible. I'm Juan, I'm a mathematics and physics student, and let's break it down. This guy points to quantum tunneling, but what is it? Imagine a particle moving through space. In classical physics, if the particle's energy is lower than the height of a potential barrier, it cannot cross. It just bounces back like a In quantum physics though, a particle isn't a precise point, it's described by a wave function, a sort of probability cloud, telling us where it might be. This wave function doesn't just stop abruptly at the barrier, it seeps in, decaying exponentially. If the barrier is thin enough or low enough, part of that wave can actually appear on the other side. That means there's non-zero probability that the particle will tunnel through the barrier. Mathematically, we describe this using the Schrodinger's equation for a potential barrier. The result shows that the amplitude of the wave beyond the barrier isn't zero, just very small. The probability of tunneling is given by this equation, where k depends on the particle's mass, the difference between its energy and the barrier's height, and Planck's constant. L is the barrier thickness. The macroscopic scale, say trying to push your hand through a table, that probability becomes absurdly tiny. We can go by hand and calculate all the probabilities for each individual atom in your hand, or we can use computers. Luckily we can program this. Let's break your hand down into its elements, simulate it all, and dive into the code like the best programmer in the world.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thought.
Yeah, fixed it. Perfect, now it works. Now we got the logarithm of the probabilities. For reference, it's 10 raised to this number. Let's calculate the total probability. This is simple, let's plug it into Wolfram Alpha. Never mind. Let's go back to coding. Excellent. The number is ridiculously small, like 1 divided by 10 with 10 to the 35 zeros after it. This is Planck length, the smallest possible length that obeys the laws of this universe. And this is Planck time, the smallest meaningful unit of time. If you smashed your hand against the table once every Planck second since the beginning of the universe, how many times would your hand tunnel through it? Take a guess. 10 times? 20? 50? No, 0. Okay, another perspective. If you keep smashing the table for 10 billion years, after 10 billion years pass, you take one random atom from the observable universe and put it inside your pocket. Once you pocketed every atom in the observable universe, congratulations, two things happen. First, you now have a serious problem called a black hole. Second, you would still have to keep punching the table for another this amount of years. So let's keep hitting it until the black hole evaporates via Hawking radiation. When it finally does, we take one Planck volume from the observable universe. That gives us this many cycles before the entire universe disappears. Clearly this isn't getting us anywhere, since we would have to repeat all of this for another 10 to the 439 times. Okay, let's try something simpler. Infinite monkey paradox. This paradox says that if you put a monkey at a typewriter and let it press random keys forever, eventually it will type every possible text, the Bible, every book ever written, and every sentence that ever will be written. Suppose the monkey uses 26 letters and 4 punctuation marks, 13 symbols in total. How many characters would it have to type before the probability of getting one specific sequence equals the probability of your hand tunneling through a table? Yeah, answer is D. 6.77 times 10 to the 34 characters. Well, there are tens of millions of monkeys on Earth. Let's say each of them types randomly at 1 character per nanosecond. That's a billion characters per second. they would need 1.54 times 10 to the 19 seconds. Okay, this is only 35 times the age of the universe. Nah, this is a long time. So let's enslave all living creatures instead. There are around 2 septillion of them. That brings it down to 3.85 times 10 to the 14 seconds, and that's just 12.2 million years. So if every living creature on Earth had been typing non-stop since the first proto-apes appeared, by now they would have written just enough text that the probability of all of it being a or the word come repeated endlessly, yeah, this would be about the same as the probability of your hand quantum tunneling through a table. So yeah, this is insanely small.